Well, no more than usual. So, survey results. Our awesome church member today, and during the week, church secretary, but church member right now is handing out copies. If you didn't get one of these, they are emailed out, and they're on our website as well. So we didn't want to give them to everybody ahead of church, during church, because exactly, although that might have been helpful. But because I know if somebody hands me something, I want to start looking at it right away. But so hopefully some people looked at it ahead of time. I don't really know what people would like to talk about, but so what we did was we took the survey that one of my predecessors, illustrious predecessors, did in 2018, and mostly used the same exact questions to try to get a reference point. So we basically used the same questions with a few differences. And then had some open-ended things at the end, which we'll get to. Open-ended are always interesting. So, any initial thoughts?
Has everybody had a chance to look at this, either on the email or website or... And the reason we're doing this is because I had a couple parishioners then ask if we could review this and have some open conversation with regard to the survey after we did it.
One of the interesting things I'll say early on. Wow, my voice is carrying. I thought it was interesting that a lot of people were drawn to the church, came to the church because of the Episcopal Church. That was a major factor. So that's something that comes with being part of a larger organization. Brand recognition, I guess, would be what you call that in the secular world. And there was some good cross-section age-wise. And 50% retired, 40% employed. Hey, that's okay. That's hey. But it's good. I mean, we're good cross section and attendance over time. It's kind of a mix range, and I think that also kind of is really nice that it's not. I mean, we're all over the place, and that's a good thing, because everybody's all over the place. Humanity is varied. So that's good. And then the priorities section. For that, what can be helpful to look at is at the very end of the packet, you'll see 2 pages. I'm a nerd, so I went in and created a spreadsheet that had the results from 2018 survey and this survey. And so you can see the difference at the very back. The difference in priority over time. Not a huge amount of changes. But it's interesting. And I thought that was the easiest way to share the information from the past as of April, comparing it. Which leaves us with the open-ended questions, which were very interesting. So I put in, so most people completed this online. And then what I did is I typed in all the handwritten surveys. And so it was amusing to me to as we got them in, to type it all in and come across the responses as if they were coming in. So it was entertaining. So first, there were at least two main takeaways, I would say, from the open-ended questions. Coffee hour wanting to be resumed, and coffee hour will resume soon. I think in theory we possibly could now at this point. We were never not going to have coffee hour. We just needed to be able to do it safely. And so we, in theory, can. So we should be resuming that sometime soon. The other popular item, and I know several people here are very invested in this other item, Saturday evenings. Saturday evening worship, I hope very much to resume soon, very soon. The issue is that we just have right now 3 or 4 now, readers. And Carol Pickard, how many people do you have on Altar Guild? 6? Okay. 6. Okay, so Altar Guild's gotten a little bigger, but so the reason we didn't immediately start off with Saturday night as well as Sunday morning is just we didn't want to overwhelm the number of readers and the Altar Guild too much. Because when we started back, goodness, a year ago, like last May of 2020, and for 6 weeks we were able to have church in person. We did Saturday and Sunday nights, and that was overwhelming our small number of readers and Altar Guild. And I just want to build that back up. So it's not that I or anyone is against doing Saturday night. It's just we want to do it in a sustainable way without burning out the volunteers we have. And it's important to have more voices than just mine involved, because you'll get tired of my voice. So that's why we need readers and other people. And it's a community thing. We're doing it together. So those are the two highlights I noticed. As far as ministry and outreach suggestions, I really appreciated somebody suggesting evangelism. I would encourage a little more detail. Evangelism is a broad term. I will say that evangelism is something that I'm very eager to do, and outreach or engagement, community engagement and visibility. And I think that's something that, as I told a member in the past few days, I think we might need to form a task force. We're Episcopalians, we love these things. Form a task force to work on that. True. Or task force / steering committee. Visioning committee. No, not using the word visioning. But finding ways to be more visible and engaged outside of ourselves, that's important. So the more input, the better. And more ideas, the better. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, please feel free to speak to me or to Shelley or Doris. So the more the merrier. And one of the things that I liked the most, and I was most eager to have answers to, was 29. What is your favorite thing about St. Stephen's? I think that I don't even remember because that is a question we added. That came up during the vestry meeting when we were talking about things. And I'm glad somebody suggested that question, because I love having this stuff. And this gives us an idea about who we think we are and how we can grow on that and share it with others. And I think that's exciting. I did appreciate that somebody had a question mark at the end of Good people who believe and trust in God? At least it looked like a question mark. That was a handwritten one, so I swear it looked like it. We can maybe think it was an exclamation point. Yes. No, please.
One of the things that I noticed is for the different ministries, number 12, Sunday school, most of it's in 3, 4, and 5, so that's very important. Adult education, the majority are in 3 and 4, but I see that as a wonderful opportunity to do formation for everyone, starting with community building type things and different things that we can do together to learn more about our faith and scripture and each other, which will lead to evangelism. Because if we're excited about this, we know more about it and what we're talking about, and we clearly love it here. So those two ministries, I think, are right for growth and enrichment.
And there's lots of ways of doing it.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, and that's...
We did on the way for the conference, we listened to Bishop Curry's book. That is absolutely painless formation. Until you actually quit listening while doing it.
Right. Yeah, listening to the way of love, that's easy. Living it, but it's the first.
And also, if people have suggestions or ideas of the way they would like some education, please bring them to our attention. If there's something you like or there's something you don't like, please bring it to our attention.
We do movie night or movie day and
Trust me, I can talk about movies. I even like during the pandemic, there were times that I came across movies that I was like, ooh, you could preach, you could teach on this, you could talk on this. So there's lots. I mean, there are lots of ways of trying things. It doesn't have to be the way it's been done before, and if you didn't like it. So there's lots of ways of doing it, and that's a very good point.
On number 30, this is one thing I did want to point out. On number 30, one of the very last comment was call people who are not feeling well or who have not been in attendance. So the vestry actually brainstormed, and Laura actually brainstormed. We came up with a list of people that we thought fell into this category, but unless somebody tells us, we don't know if we've missed somebody. And now that we're able to go back out into the community, we do have folks that are willing to go visit the homebound, but unless we know who they are, we can't get to them. So this is something that I know that's very important to those that are at home. So if you know somebody, please reach out to Laura or Father or myself or Doris and let us know who those folks are so we can make sure and get into contact with them. Or if there's somebody that just wants a visit, let us know, because, we did literally brainstorm, and that's how we came up with our initial list.
And I actually have a good anecdote about this kind of concept. Many years ago, I don't remember the occasion, but my mom ended up sick and in the hospital. This is way back in West Virginia, long ago, the Dark Ages. And she, at the time, had the parish priest at our church she was not a huge fan of. And she'd been utterly in love with the one before, so no matter what, there was going to be some disappointment. But the parish priest at the time, she didn't really like. So she was in the hospital, and then after, she was in the hospital for like a couple of days. And when she came out, she told me that she was kind of irritated that the priest didn't visit her. And so I asked her, did you let him know that you were in the hospital? And she said no. And I said, well, then how was he supposed to know that you were in the hospital and wanted a visit? And she said, well, he should just know. And so I explained to her, the process of ordination does not give us that gift. I hope after that she was a little more understanding. I'm not 100% certain. But communication. And by the way, with that list, Laura can tell you during the week when she's working, when she's not church member Laura, that we've been in touch with lots of people that were on that list, and we have yet to have one person say they'd like a visit. So we're trying. And we're reaching out and we're letting them know we care and we miss them, but we're doing what we can. So,
about 15 years ago, we had a combined youth group of the two parishes, and I always met with them. And every year we took a trip out to the corn maze in the west part of town. And every now and then on Facebook, I put a picture of the group that went. Two of them were African American, one was Asian, two were Latino, three were Native Americans, one was gay. This is sure a white bunch. And I understand all the difficulties and all that kind of stuff, but it is possible right here in River City to have diversity as I've seen it done.
other?
I would say a lot of what I see and what I want to have folks help participate in is like people are saying we want to do adult education, child education, or community things. That's a passion of yours. I want you to come forward and help be part of that committee. Because I see a lot of it being held by the same 5-10 people. And it'd be great to see. And it doesn't take a lot of committing. It'd be like, once a month, once a quarter, that kind of thing. But it'd be great to see people step up and be part of these different committees that we started putting together. We kind of wanted to have this conversation before we start putting committees together. We wanted everyone's opinion on what was important to the church as a whole. And just kind of telling us what you want. I'm all for community stuff. I'm excited to see us start to do summer stuff again, like movie nights or like bunko or dinners, that kind of thing. So I just hope everyone can kind of pick one committee that they're passionate about and kind of put their foot forward and help us kind of rebuild as we go forward.
And one of the key things you touched on, it's not, everything doesn't have to be every week. I think one of the first things I remember encountering like that is like at my mom's church that she went to in North Carolina, that they had Sunday school teachers that rotated like once every 6 weeks, you did a week or something. And so that way you can function without being overwhelming a small number of people. Because not everybody is going to commit themselves their whole body and soul, and not everybody can do that. And I certainly understand that.
So in line with what Elizabeth was saying, and one of the other things that we've been working on is we've come up with a list of all of our activities that we've done in the past, all of our activities that we're doing now, our evangelism, our events, our community services. And the reason that we wanted to do this survey first is to see if there's something else that we need to put on that list or that we had forgotten. But once again, as Elizabeth said, in order to come to grow within our community, internally and externally, we need a little help. But we are going to present that list to the congregation next to see what we'd like to start. We can't do everything at once. Let's pick a couple of our favorite things, new things, things that we think are going to help us grow. And then let's put some real effort into some of those activities that we select. So this was our first step, was to start with the survey. We appreciate those that participated. We're going to bring the list out next, have the same kind of conversation, see what we want to do as a group, form some committees, hopefully get some volunteers, and then let's do some growing. Any other comments?
And feel free to think more on this, and feel free to email the office or myself or Shelley or Doris or somebody to keep the conversation going. This is just a start. We're in this together.
Like I said, we've brainstormed quite a bit, and we're hoping to continue on and see what we can do. And if it's, St. Stephen's, St. Luke's, we're sure open, because St. Luke's is doing something very similar with the next list.
Well, and they're actually doing a survey right now. We were ahead of them with that. And they're actually using the same exact survey and online survey as well. So, be kind of interesting to see what the results are. But again, please always know we're here. Always happy to talk about anything. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.